Here's an illustration to describe the concept of taking a movement and feathering the tension or feathering through the discomfort. So we'll say this green is your comfort, your range of motion that's comfortable to you. We'll say this blue is the area where you identify tension. We'll say this yellow is the area where you begin to experience discomfort. And we'll say the red is pain. So here in the green, this is comfortable. We're not identifying tension. We can move freely in this area. This is very, very safe. Once we reach a certain point, we start to identify tension. And this may change from day to day. Sometimes we might be sore and it's easier to get into tension. From this tension, that tension turns to discomfort. Sometimes it takes a while to identify where the discomfort occurs, especially if we're moving too quickly. So when you're moving slowly through the process, it's really easy to identify those points of when the comfort turns into tension, when the tension becomes discomfort. And from discomfort, how much room do we have before it becomes pain? For most of us, the threshold between discomfort and pain is pretty close. So whenever we say to feather into it or to ease into it, so we move in this comfortable range. Boom, we're in some tension. I might just stay within that tension for a little while. Back out of it. Keep floating around in that comfortable area. Bump back into tension. And as I'm easing that tension over, I'm starting to get more range of motion to play with within that comfortable zone, within that zone of comfort. And with that, I'm getting more and more of a buffer before I reach discomfort. So as I'm feathering that tension, eventually maybe I develop enough sense of safety and enough confidence to spend more time within the tension. And then I can start feathering that discomfort. All right. By feathering, I mean I'm gently touching it, gently feathering the threshold, and I'm back out of it. I'm operating within that tension. Okay, maybe I come back and operate a little more where I'm comfortable, where it's easy, so I can get back to that tension. All right. That presses my buffer further back, giving me more range of motion. Now, before I did that feathering, we were here. This gentle feathering approach gave us much more room to play with. And you can kind of continue to feather that. Now, you may reach a point where it starts to press back, right? And it pushes back. And that's a thing. And that's going to come and go from day to day and from session to session. Because the opposite of feathering the comfort into tension, into discomfort, while it may grant you more range of motion, the opposite can happen. Where if you blow through this, that threshold of pain will start to anticipate that stimulus is coming. And so it'll start sending its signal earlier and earlier, where you actually start losing range of motion because the pain alert is happening because you keep trying to blow through it. It keeps pressing back as a defense mechanism, right? So that's what I mean by feathering the discomfort, so that way you can gain more range of motion. Otherwise, blowing past it too quickly will cause that pain alert to sound off sooner and sooner, limiting your range of motion and creating more fear around the movement.